Okay, so before I start this video, I just want to go ahead and thank you for those who've clicked on this. This will be my first attempt at actually recording and editing a video. That wasn't the ARMA video that I edited forever ago, so thank you once again, and let's get right into it. Okay, so you decided to start streaming. You wanted to start streaming on a console, maybe the Switch, maybe the PS5, maybe the Xbox, whatever is out now. And you eventually decided that you wanted to go for this capture card in particular, and not an onboard capture card. You wanted an external capture card. Now you don't want to spend too much money, and you're not too sure what to look for. You find some videos online, and everyone kind of seems either very for something or very against something. It kind of flicks on how you're able to decide on what you want. Well, luckily, a few of us are more reasonable in our approaches and have actually experienced some of these things, and we'll actually tell you from a, let's say, less technical standpoint. Now on screen, I'll now be showing the Aver Mini, which is what I'm currently using and what I'm personally going for. I don't want to say that it's perfect, I don't want to say it's amazing. However, what I do want to say is that you've noticed on screen you'll see that there is the two HDMI ports on the front and the one USB-C port on the front, which goes into a cable of a USB port that'll plug into your PC. That, of course, needs to plug into the 3.0 section of that PC part. If you're wondering why I'm very specific on how these things plug in, it's because I know for sure that some of you will end up watching this, possibly buying it, coming back, and then wanting to see that. Moving on, this thing has a all-encompassing software that'll automatically detect all Aver products that you purchased for this particular capture card, or maybe even others, and in doing so, you'll be able directly to record and play through that little opening section. Now, that window will pop up, similar to if you've ever seen any sort of recording software like Streamlabs OBS, or possibly just OBS in general. You'll notice that you'll be able to play directly through there, which is what I recommend. You can go ahead and place it on the full screen mode, then go ahead and move your mouse marker down, click the record button, which is the circle that should be grayed out, and once you do that, you'll have a display on the bottom left of your screen telling you exactly how long it's recording, and more than likely, if memory serves me, exactly how long you have left based on your capable storage space. Now, to be very clear on this is a mid-tier capture card. It's not high-tier like Elgato, which we'll talk about later. However, it is very good quality, especially for what you're purchasing. In fact, it's such good quality that my Switch couldn't actually handle playing the game at what I wanted to stream at. Of course, I don't have any sort of advancement in graphic technology, which you can purchase online through Amazon. And if you're interested, comment down below and I'll be sure to give that link. However, what it does have is a very, very easily accessible software for those who are starting out. And if you can't find that software yourself, feel free to comment down below and I'll be more than happy to help you. Now, moving on to some of the other more kind of specific things about this particular card, you'll notice that it is very small. Now, I personally found this to be a plus, but if you in particular feel that it is not a plus, keep in mind that it is very small, about the size of your palm. Now, how you choose, if you choose to mount this, if you choose to keep it down, it's kind of up to you. I personally chose to not mount this. However, I will mention that it is similar in size to the Elgato that we'll be talking about shortly. With that being said, let's go straight into it. Now, next capture card, which is the initial capture card that I bought, this is the HD60S, which will now be shown on screen. Now, the HD60S has two HDMI ports and one USB-C port. The difference to the Aver capture card that we spoke about before is that the ports are on either side, so you have cables going from the left side and from the right side. Now, this may be good for you, and I believe that it is designed, it's meant to actually help you out. If you mount this card up to the wall, with whatever method you eventually choose to, you can more than likely have the cords go into one place, while the other cords are going into another. This, of course, could be beneficial to you, and that's up for you to decide. For me, I actually resented the fact, and I had cables going in various different directions, and naturally, due to the setup that I kind of have, it's not something that I wanted. Now, to move on to their software, they do have a much more in-depth software that allow you to do various things, such as manipulate the audio that you are transmitting through it, whether you want to play it, not play it, etc., etc. And the softwares are relatively similar in that regard. Also, just the same, you can stream and record in a similar manner. Now, their software may be less approachable for some beginners, which there are various different tutorials online for you to manipulate and kind of edit it the way you want to. The problem with that is most of those tutorials, if not all of them, are based on the assumption that you know exactly what you're doing. And as we know, that's not true for most people. So you may have a difficulty kind of using this software, which is perfectly fine. I implore you to not be frustrated and continue trying to figure it out. Regardless, we're going to kind of wrap this up with my general views on it and why I don't use it currently. Now, I personally do not like the fact that it is less accessible and it was a little bit annoying for me to get hold of. What I mean by that is the kind of setup it took me a little bit of time to get into. Didn't really like that, and when it came down to the footage, whether this was a cable issue, whether this was a software issue, or whether I did something wrong in general, I'm not too sure. However, I had issues with the display on my screen sending at the same speed as was displayed by my console. The reason why this is a problem for me is due to the fact that I have such a setup as I do. I need to be able to play the game on my monitor while playing. The importance of this is because back then I did not have a 2-monitor setup. So I needed it to display at the same speed because the other screen that it was playing on was incredibly delayed, and that was the screen that I was playing on. Now that I have 2 monitors, I do have the option to display on one screen while playing on another. However, I typically like to do it through that channel since I like having other things running on the separate monitor. However, with the Aver, not the Elgato, I find that it is much more in tune with exactly what's going on, and there will be footage kind of playing in the background, which will be most of what you're seeing during this stream. The rest of that footage, which runs about 30 minutes long, will be posted, and there will be a link on this channel showing you exactly where it's posted if you want to watch it and kind of see how it works. More than likely, the audio will be turned down a small bit in order to allow for me to talk more freely here, but on the other clip, the audio should be back to where it was and when I recorded it at. Keep in mind, of course, if you change settings and you kind of mess with stuff, it's going to have a different quality and the level. For the most part, the picture seemed to be fine. However, this is my first initial test on the Aver, so once again, don't in particular look too much into the errors that are there, because more than likely it is more client-side. That all being said, I hope it helped you out. If you have any questions about these two, I'll try to answer it the best I can. I have minimal experience with both, so like I said, I'm not exactly an expert. However, what that does is I more than likely have experienced some of the problems that you've had. With that being said, once again, for the 3rd time, I believe, I'm hoping in the future to post more videos like this and kind of work my way into the YouTube scene and start recording in general. However, as of right now, there will be mostly kind of these lackluster edits since I'm pretty inexperienced and I'm testing it all out on my own since I'm mostly just a Twitch streamer. Thank you for watching, I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.